Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome back. Today, we are starting episode 4, which is at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. I'm going to start saying this now because it's easy to forget that it's this early in the morning and everyone's just, functioning. I'm Alex. This is my co-host. Say Jack Bauer. Say hello, Jack.
Bauer.
The following takes place between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. on the day of the California presidential primary. Our last episode ended with Janet getting hit by a car. So now we start with Janet laying on the ground, crawling, struggling to survive. And to remind you that it's such a bad neighborhood, for the 50th time in the past 12 minutes, a car drives by, yells at her instead of doing anything, and then a blurry junkie walks by. Even though you can see headlights in the distance when you look at this shot, no one else goes by at all. Dan and Rick get Kim back into the van. Back at the CTU, Jack is going to talk to Nina. Jack apologizes about accusing her and screaming in her face.
Who are you working for?
And tells her about this is all because of what he found out from Walsh, and that Walsh is dead because he knew about the insider helping with the Palmer hit. And that Walsh said they could also trust Jamie. So the three of them are now going to be working together.
Means the three of us have to work together.
While doing everything else also. Palmer gets back to the suite, immediately calls Carl, who is like, hey, we just saw each other like 25 minutes ago. I need a little more time. They met at 2:39. It's now 3:05. You gotta chill a little, David, okay? Chill.
David, you've got to let me.
Sherry is like, what is going on? Where have you been? You can't just walk away.
There's been an assassination threat.
And David's just like, LOL, okay.
That's what all the fuss is about?
And then he leaves. He goes in a different room. Tony gives Jack an update about the flight because first class had an empty seat, but it also doesn't make sense because it was fully booked and it had a waiting list. So why would they fly without filling that seat? That's suspicious. Keep working, Tony. Nina and Jamie made progress on the card. They have an address and no other information, just an address. And Jack's like, how long will it take you to get to the next spot? Or the next layer, as they put it? I don't know what they're talking about. Most people don't know what they're talking about. And Jack's just like, will it take minutes or hours? And Jamie's like, hours, idiot. It's very complicated, apparently. And Jack's like, fine, I'm just going to go myself. And writes down the address. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Tony is still staring at them while sipping from his mug. Just creeping for days. Right when Jamie's about to dig in a little more, Jamie gets locked out.
It's a lockdown.
And then Mason shows up, shuts everything down, puts the agency on lockdown. He walks in with internal investigations. Nothing happens until everything gets cleared. So the second this happens, Jack immediately starts going for some back door that I think he snuck in earlier.
Where's Jack?
I don't know.
Well, of course, everyone else gets to deal with Mason. Haha, LOL. So Jack goes to sneak out the one back way that exists, and he does the funniest thing to the guard. Jack has his keys out. He's like, come on, I just gotta run in my car. No big deal. And then the guy's like, no, obviously, not moving. So he's like, fine, you get it. And then he drops his keys. The guard looks at the keys fall, and then he just hits the guy in the stomach.
Fine, you take the keys.
What? So he hits the guy, grabs the keys, runs out of the door. You think they would have a way to actually lock the door for a lockdown? Jack could have just hit the guy in the stomach and then walked out. Why did he fake drop his keys? Is that Jack's move to get out of any weird situation? Oh, you get it. Drop keys. Punch. While Mason's yip-yapping about God knows what, Nina goes up to Tony. Why the hell did you call this in? What's going on, bud? Tony's just like, Jack's out of control. 2 agents are dead. And Jack was there when it happened. So obviously, Jack's the bad guy. And the best part is the guard that Jack got past goes up to Mason and tells him, oh, Jack got past me. LOL, did that key trick again.
You got past me.
And then Mason just gives him a look like, oh, you fell for the key trick again. Back to the Palmer compound, and David's looking tired. Probably because it's 3:17 a.m. Who would have guessed? Pierce pops in, talks to David about the situation, how the threat is serious. It's different. This assassin's from overseas.
This one's different. It's a pro from overseas.
That makes a deal, I guess. I guess you have to buy Assassins International. The local ones just don't cut it. So David's just like, it's all good. We're fine. And he mentions that the plane that went down could be involved with this whole situation. David just worries about his family, Pierce said they'll give extra security, but you're going to have to change your plans for the day, especially breakfast.
The breakfast, for example.
And you can't skip breakfast.
The breakfast is important.
That's the most important meal of the day. Oh, also, he's meeting with a bunch of top labor leaders today, but you know. Back to the van. Kim wants to go back to the island, Jack.
We have to go back!
Kim just needs to get back to Janet. Make sure she's okay, because she does not look okay. Dan immediately is like, absolutely not. But as Kim keeps talking about it, he kind of realizes, oh, wait, I should go and make sure and finish the job. Pulls a gun out of nowhere that apparently he had the entire time. She's just like, wait, the people that kidnapped us want to hurt us?
You're gonna kill her? You're gonna kill Janet, huh?
Yeah. So then they tie her up. And with that, because I didn't want to print out, I didn't want to order a print of her with tape over her mouth because I feel like that would be weird, and I get put in a special file. So we have a solution for it. Perfect. I just wanted to look as silly as possible because if it looks too real, I'm definitely going to get put in a file. So now, Kim is tied up, as shown with this fantastic X tape over her face. These two are speeding to get to the auto body shop, and they get pulled over by a cop. And they're immediately just like, listen, our daughters are in danger. We're trying to get there. Help us. And the cop's just like, listen, y'all are speeding. Terry's just like, I just called in a 911. Can you check and verify? Because it's literally the truth. That's what we're doing right now. So go check. The cop goes back to verify about the 911 call. Alan gets out of the car when he's not supposed to. Is mad. Obviously, because, you know, he's trying to get there fast. Forget this, and then turns away from the cop, and the cop's like, that's it, last straw. So he sits him on the curb and cuffs him. And of course, because it's 24, the van with them drives past them being pulled over. Yep. Again. Jack's on the road, he's on the move, he's driving. He snuck out, he's good. Back at the CTU, Mason is currently talking to Nina. Just grilling her about the situation. Mason tells Nina that Scott Baylor and Walsh are both dead. You're making a big mistake. You cannot be helping Jack right now. And Nina's just like, psh, I'm just going to share your bank statement and no one's going to care, okay? So you're cooked, bud. And Mason's just like, no. With what Jack's doing right now, no one will give a crap about that $200K. I totally skimmed off the top for myself. Mason's not pulling any punches. He's like, I know about the affair. I know about you and Jack. So he goes and runs away from home, shacks up with you, gets bored of you, and goes right back home. Is that how it is? He says that Jack told him about the affair, and that Jack might not be the shining knight you think he is.
Jack's not the shining knight you think he is.
Okay, Jack is driving, and at the same time, he's looking at the address he wrote down. And my favorite thing about that is when he looks at the address, it says, Palmer? ? Yeah, pretty sure. This whole day is because of Palmer, ? Why would it not be involved with Palmer? What else is happening right now? Everything is in that circle. This is the whole reason of today. If there was a Venn diagram, it would just be one full circle that just says Palmer, and everything is inside of it. So, yeah, I'd say Palmer. Then he goes to call Terry, who, of course, gets out of the car right before he calls to go talk to the officer and try to reason with him. Jack parks his car. He's walking around the sketchy area, just starts opening doors. Because, you know, that's what I do when I'm in a new place at 3:30 in the morning. Just start opening doors, willy-nilly. Jack walks into the building, sees this guy in the corner smoking. The guy immediately starts running and shooting. Chase scene. So with all the gunshots, a cop hears, gets out, and joins in on the chase. But catches up to Jack first. She's just like, put down the gun, get on the ground. And he's like, I work the CTU. What the hell's a CTU? He throws his wallet like immediately.
CTU, what the hell is that?
Jack's just like, either shoot me and get some goddamn sleep for a change, or you can help me. How about that? And she's just like, you got it, fam. And now they're working together. She has joined Jack's party, and they're both running after that guy. We don't know who he is yet. During the chase, Terry sees the missed call, calls Jack back, and of course Jack has his phone full volume. The guy gets to jump on him, shoots at him, kind of scatter a little more because he didn't turn his damn phone off. She gets responses over a radio because she called for backup before she got out of the car because she heard gunshots. And Jack's just like, I wish she didn't call for backup because I need to not play by the rules to get this guy And you're just like, all right, we get it, Jack. You're so cool. Back at the CTU, Mason still grilling Nina. How long you been here? And she's like, 7 years. And he's like, and you had such promise back then. I remember it. Now you're just Jack's flunky.
Jack's flunky.
And he left you here to take all the blame and deal with all this. And even though she's getting super duper roasted, she holds her ground. Back to Jack and the cop lady Tuesday nights on NBC. Still chasing, running after her. They turn down a hallway, sees a guy, Jack just starts yelling. Get out! And it's the janitor. Janitor drops to the ground, opens fire, and then they chase after. As they run past the janitor, he just like stays on the ground, and I'm like, yeah, smart move, bud. Back to Janet on the ground. Dan has the gun on the side, out of the window, because he's ready to just double tap. But before they get to do anything, an ambulance just pulls on up, and they bail instead of doing anything. Back at the CTU lockdown party, where no work can get done until everything's cleared up, so everyone's just kind of sitting around like... Nina gets out of the grill sesh with Mason, go chats with Jamie. It's just like, listen, he's going to talk to you next. Everything's fine. Don't worry. Just don't be a snitch, because you're a snitch. And Jamie's just like, but we take orders from him. We can't be doing that. And Nina's like, no, listen, we're taking orders from Walsh. Walsh is better than him, so we're doing that. That's our play. Back to Jack. They're creeping around. They hear some steps upstairs. It could be another janitor. But then they see that it's him and chase some more. David gets a call from Carl. Finally gets that information. It took him just under an hour. Pretty good for 3 a.m. He talks to Sherry about the call from earlier, that it was Maureen Kingsley, that she has new evidence that Keith killed Gibson. And the person she got the info from, George Ferragamo, which was Keith's therapist for 4 years. Sherry's just like, well, I guess it's time to lawyer up, isn't it? And David still seems pretty unsure. It might be a possibility that Keith killed someone.
Of course not.
Back to Terry and Alan, just sitting on the side of the road like a couple of jerks. Cop gets a call, verifies that the 911 call was made, fitting that description half an hour ago, because they sat there for 15 minutes, and that they're free to go. While the cop's unlocking Alan, you committed the most serious crime of all, and that's not listening to me. And Alan's just like, what the f*** ever. There's like a frame where it looks like the cop is walking up to the car again. Alan just takes off. Back to Jack and the cop lady. He's like, split up. We'll cut him off at the pass. Jack spots him, but then there's a police helicopter just shining the light willy-nilly like they do, and starts lighting up Jack, while Jack's getting the light blasted in his face, and it's just whereabouts completely known to everyone. She cuts around some containers, spots the janitor again.
Dios mío, por favor!
And then he sneaks up on her, gets the jump on her. Jack catches up to both of them. He's just like, put your gun down. She's like, don't do it. It's fine. It's all good. And Jack's like, I'm gonna pull my gun down. Because he has to yell, because it's Jack Bauer.
Put down the gun!
So he puts down, quick drop and a charge, and then some quick cuts, and then the gunshot, and he tackles him. He throws him against the wall, and he's like, great job. Hand me your cuffs. Peeks around the corner. She got shot. Terry and Alan get to where it went down. The ambulance that scared away them drives past. And they're just like asking some junkies like, hey, what's going on? Tell us some details. How you doing? Say hi to your mother for me. The junkie, surprisingly helpful. Like, they went to this hospital. That's the closest one. Duh, idiot. So then they go to the hospital that the junkie just named. The closest hospital. Boys are parked, waiting. Gaines pulls up. Asked about the other girl. Dan lies, said we killed her. We took care of the body. It's all good, bud. Gaines to Kim is like, I'm your problem now. And if you listen, you'll be back to the mall in no time. Which is like, Gaines obviously gets teenagers. All she wants to do is go to the mall. Jamie goes in, chat with Mason next. Gets a short little chat sesh compared to Nina. Mason's still like, this is just how it goes. They rope you in. You're the only one we can trust. And then they build up your confidence. And then they ask you to do something up. And then you're the one standing there with the bag in your hands when you get caught. The funniest thing is during the chat, Jamie just keeps like turning and looking at Nina, and Nina's just like looking at her the entire time. But then luckily Mason gets a call. They know where Jack is. So Mason's like, all right, we're good. We're getting the out of here, bro. Yep, see, look how fast you left. Mason's like, all right, wrap it up. We're out of here. Lockdown's over as you were. Get back to work. You jerks. You bunch of jerks. But as he's walking out, Nina's like, is Jack okay? And he's just like, what is so special about Jack Bauer?
What's so special about Jack Bauer?
And then he leaves. We're back to Jack. Confirmed dead. did not make it. There are now, all the backup ever arrived. There's like 15 cops just swarming around. Jack asked about the cop Jesse that didn't make it. Then asked for a few minutes to chat with this guy so he can get some answers. And then the guy immediately was like, "You're never going to get out of this, Bauer."
That's too bad. Bauer.
And he's like, "What?
Bauer, you know my name.
How'd you know my name?" In a crowd of cops and one Jack Bauer, he yells
You ever want to see your daughter again? Get me out of it!
in front of everyone. He's surrounded by cops. There are like 5 cop faces right around him. He yells that, and then the hilarious music sting happens, and then Jack just starts to like kind of stage dive over the cops. Absolutely no one reacts to what he just said to Jack. Nobody at all. It's ridiculous. And kind of really funny. So after the hilarious failed stage dive and quality music sting that the show is known for, Jack just sprints back to his car. That's this episode of 24. Special thanks to my patrons for putting up with my bullshit. Appreciate all of you. And if you want, check out my weekly live streams. We're currently spinning a wheel, playing old games based on movies or TV shows. We started with Lord of the Rings. We started with some quality, and then the wheel's got some real stinkers on there. So come on down. Help me decide how bad of a time I'm going to have. Link will be in the description. Come on down, and I'll see you, Bauerheads, next Friday.